Hello everyone, this is Jerry the Blender Magus and welcome back. So today I'm going to show you how to get started retopologizing. And the reason I say I'm going to show you how to get started and we're not going to not specifically anything else is because I started to make the retopology tutorial and I was going to just go through the whole thing, but my recording software crashed, so I lost all that data, and I don't necessarily want to go through that again. So I'm going to do a few things. One is I'm going to show you how you can get started retopologizing, so you know how to do it with Blender's new tools, and I'm going to show you how to download this new add-on called Speed Retopo, which will help with your process. And I'm going to provide this retopologized model and the sculpted model in case you want to use this or just go ahead and retopologize your own model. But I will show you the basics of retopology and how you can get started retopologizing and what to think about while you are doing that. So I'm going to Alt-H to unhide everything and make sure I have my retopology mesh. I'm going to hide that so I can show you how to get started. I'm going to hide the rest of the accessories as well. Also hide the teeth and the gums. Okay. So you just want this bare object here, and hit period on your number pad to make sure you're centered in the rotation, and you want to hit Shift S, make sure your cursor is to the world origin, and then you want to hit Shift A and you want to add a plane. I'm going to tap into edit mode, and so I want to RX 90 degrees. And next you want to go up to your settings up here. You want to click this magnet, then you want to click snap to, and you want to snap to face, and then you want to make sure to click or check project to shelf, align rotation to target, project individual elements. Okay, that'll just make certain that you have the smoothest transition between your movements. Next you want to hit 5 on your number pad to go into Orthographic. Sometimes this is a bit easier to lay out on your surface, and other times to get into trickier places you want to switch back to perspective. So we're just going to move that over, and now the first tool that we're going to check out is the poly build tool. Okay, so you want to make sure you hit T in your 3D view to make sure that it's selected, and you see if I'm hovering over an edge, this blue line will be selected. So just go up here and you can extrude that, and if you want to get rid of it, you can hit Shift and left click, and that'll delete that face. So if you want to move an individual vertice, you could just click on it. It doesn't matter if you have left or right click selected, you can just click on the vertex and move that along there. You can also still select individual vertices, or if you are in the edge select mode, you can still select the vertex, and now when you do that, when you right click on the edge, you'll be able to select the whole edge, but if you want to just select a vertex, you can also do that as well. And then regular E for extrude still works in case you want to be a bit more precise with what you're doing. So the way I get started with retopology is I try to follow the loops, but recently I watched a video that stated it's best to start with retopologizing the face, and so I will take that advice and we will start by doing that. So I'm going to scale this face down and I'm going to bring it up here. Okay, now I'm going to have a link to the Speed Retopo download in my description box, but once you download it, you go to Edit, Preferences, and you want to make sure that you're in your add-ons, and you want to go to Install, and go to wherever you saved it and click install. And then when you search speed, if I can spell speed, and it'll be right there up top, and just check that box, and then you can go in here and save your preferences. So that'll give you this. If you have B surfaces enabled, then there'll be a tab for B surfaces up here. I don't have that enabled because I never really used it, never really cared to. So I'm just going to show you how I retopologize. Feel free to use whatever method that you see fit, but it'll give you some cool options. So first thing that it'll do for you is, if you want to make sure that your faces are as close to the center as possible, and you click add mirror, it'll add a mirror modifier where it immediately clips the nearest two vertices closest to the center together. Now I like to change this clipping from 0.05 to 0.001. That's because I want to have a bit more room to move the center point around. So click on period to center your faces again, and we still have our poly build tool selected, so this moving the these faces around isn't that difficult. Okay, so we can I'm gonna show you by getting started modeling the face. So another thing that you should be aware of you can do is, if you hold control and you're hovered around a edge like this, you have a couple of options. You can make a triangle, and then you can hover over it and make a square. And if you're holding control and you click and then you let go of control, it'll snap to the object. So you can do it just like that, or again you can just make it like this. But if you have a situation where you want to add a face like this, if you hold control and go to the corner, you can click and drag and you'll get a face from that, and that just makes it really easy to connect different sections to one another. Okay, so we're going to make this object, and you can still do the R for rotate and S for scale stuff as well. So we're just gonna extrude this along Alright, there we go. So next we can connect them, and you see how easy maneuvering with the poly build tool is, because I can just bring this out, connect that, and then what you can also do is click on auto merge here and set the threshold to 0.1. And so if you drag this vertice, if you drag this vertex, maybe change it not to 0.1 but to 0.01. There we go. So if you drag this vertex close to here, it'll snap right to it, and that'll make it easier to connect vertices to one another. And you can still hit Control R to add new vertices to places. Now another trick you can use with this add-on here is you can click hidden wire and in front, and what that'll do is you'll be able to see all of your points more clearly while your meshes or while you're retopologizing. And then what you can do is you can, when you go into object mode, you can change, I believe you can change the display of your object color if you go to shading and choose object, and then go to your data and mess with the color here. So let's make it maybe a darker gray. Okay, so when we tab into object mode, this is what we'll get. Okay, so we have the loop here. Next thing we want to do is I want to select these vertices here and hit Shift D and right click. I want to hit S for scale, and boom. And I'm just going to drag these vertices so that they surround the eye. Okay, and just gonna extrude this, bring those together, extrude that, bring those together, and then okay, this is good enough. So we're then going to go to face select mode and select all of these faces here. Hit I for inset. Oops. Make sure you select all the faces. Hit I for inset. Oh. Make sure you select all the faces. Okay. And hit I for inset. And then Alt Q or vertex, smooth vertices, and G. Okay, so then you can move these around, and you might want to uncheck the face select up top here, so you can avoid that unless you want it on. But I like to make sure that there's a loop around the eyebrows and also a loop around the eyes. I don't know if that's right or wrong or not, but that's how I like to do it usually. Ooh. Yeah, be careful when you have auto snapping on to make sure that you don't accidentally snap a vertex that you didn't want. But make sure that you do it, and make sure that you let go of control while you're making these faces. It'll make snapping them together easier. Okay, so it's also good to make sure that that is an edge loop as well. Okay, so let's move these around some more just to edit the shape. Okay, then we can E and turn off proportional editing so we can scale these down. We'll put these there. Oh, yep, so when you're working real close together, change it from 0.01 to 0.001. 0.001. There we go. Whoopsie daisy. But yeah, so now you can work closely with it and they won't accidentally snap together. Don't be afraid to move the positioning of some of these to better accommodate the shape of the eye, because we're just in the beginning stages here. Alright, so we'll go in and we'll add another edge loop there, and we'll hit G. Okay, and let's just go in here. Make sure we'll get another one in here, and we will Let's slide these down. But you want to make sure there's quite a few edge loops near the in the eye, because it needs to blink, and it needs to blink smoothly without any stretching. So consider that when making or retopologizing the eye. And honestly, as it stands, I want to change this topology. So I'm going to delete those vertices, and I'll delete this vertice as well. But I would also like to extrude this to the center. There we go. And extrude this down. Or did I really just change the topology? I don't know. I'm trying to get some more edge loops going around this way. Yeah, no, I did change it because it was only one instead of two. So yeah, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. And then move that there. Okay, so we have some more space in here. Okay, so that's like the gist of how you want to retopologize, right? So then you're going to select a whole face here, Shift D to duplicate that, and then you want to find the edge loop that goes around the entire face. So just notice how, using the polybuild tool in conjunction with the speed retopo tool is just making this process go a lot faster. You don't even need the assistance of things like the retopo flow. Although if you have the money to get it, then just get it, because it's freaking amazing. Retopo flow is the stuff. I bought a previous version of it, and I'm actually, because they usually give free updates with because you purchased it before, but I haven't gotten the update yet. I'm still waiting on that. But so I had to figure out how the default tools in the new Blender work, and they actually work wonderfully. I love them. So you see how we're pretty quickly getting let's see how quickly actually, yeah, so yeah, pretty decently, because I time lapse some of this, so we're making pretty decent time with this head here. So I'm gonna go over retopologizing this whole head, and then you can use that to retopologize the rest of the body. Though before I finish the head, I want to show you a couple of things that'll help you retopologize the body, and then you can do it on your own. So when you get to parts like the arms, legs, fingers, and toes, this is a method that you want to use. So you want to make sure you're in object mode and in a separate object, and hit Shift A, go to Add Mesh, and then Cylinder, change it to 12 vertices, and then fill it with nothing. Okay, And then you want to tab into edit mode. It'll automatically have hidden wire on. That's fine. Just hold S and Z to scale it up, and we'll do the legs first. So we'll hit Alt S to scale that along the normals, and then we'll hit G. We'll hit Alt S to scale it along the normals again. Whoops. And make sure that before you do that, you turn off your magnet there. That way it won't mess with the vertices. Okay. Next, you want to click in front. You want to bring that up. And we'll adjust it in the side view first. And we'll adjust it in the top view there. So you want to get out of your poly build tool by just clicking this button up here. And you want to make sure you're in wireframe. Select the whole thing. Move it on the Z axis. So next, we're going to move this to about right there because that's where that would be. I'm going to hit Control R to add an edge loop in the center there. I'm going to hit Control R again to add another one. And I think no, I don't. Okay, there we go. We should be fine now. So hit Control B to add some edge loops there. Hit Control B to add edge loops there. And then go into the front view, hit A, G, X, bring that over so that the top part is where you would probably place that bone. Then select the center point here, bring it on the X axis. Select this point here, bring it along the X axis. And then select this point here, bring it along the X axis. Okay, just like that. Now, I suggest doing things like this, giving them a specific rotation will help with how the vertices are distributed for what we're about to do. Okay, and then you can even add a couple more vertices in there if you see fit. Okay, so next thing we want to do is we actually want to add a few in the center of these as well. Okay, and then with this we can go to our speed retopo, which is in your tools, and go back into edit mode, and you can click add mirror, add subsurf, and add shrink wrap. And when you go back to solid view and go into object mode, you can go to your settings here, and you can select the target for the shrink wrap by going to the eyedropper tool and selecting the object, and so now it's shrink wrapped to the object. But what you want to do instead of the shrink wrap being on, the mode is on project. Actually, you're supposed to have it on project. That is what it's supposed to be on, but it might not. Okay, so I had my settings weird from last time. So basically, just make sure it's in front or off in the negative position, and make sure that so I'm going to turn this off. So make sure that these up top here are actually, you just actually delete those. You can delete those, and then with these, you can just move them down with edge slide. But make sure that they're not touching this part there. So there you go. And so with these settings, you can see how it's taking the shape of the mesh pretty well, the underlying mesh. So that's how you can retopologize like your limbs and stuff pretty quickly. And then I'll show you how to do the arm and then the fingers, and then basically all you would have to do is just connect that together. So that's, and you know, you might want to turn down the display of the subdivision surface and then go in the W and hit shade smooth, so that way, you know, if you turn it up you can see it very nicely. But this just helps you get your vertices to the shape of the object. And if you know, if you don't even need the subsurf, you can just do that. And once you're done with that, once you're happy with this shape here, just hit apply with the shrink wrap, and now your vertices are on that, or are, you know, directly on the shape as if you had went through and retopologized it by hand. Okay, so that's really a really easy way to do the limbs. So I'm going to do the arms, and I'll show you how to do the rest of the face. Okay, and one thing that you really do want to do, turn back on proportional editing. Make sure you find a spot where you can look at this edge loop at the bottom close to the wrist, like so, and you want to rotate it. You want to rotate it in a manner that the rest of them follow, and that'll give your arm a twist. That'll actually help better take the shape of the faces, because as you can see, the muscles twist this way, and so actually twisting the vertices, that'll help with deformation later when we rig, and a whole lot of other things. So that's something that you definitely want to do. Okay, then you can apply shrink wrap, and boom, you're ready to go. So essentially do that for the fingers, and then connect them together. So I'm gonna show you one more thing about edge loops when you're modeling. So we want to make this low poly, so try not to go too overboard. Like don't make an individual muscle edge loop for this here, or these here. You might want to do such a thing for like a movie model, but even then they still use normal maps and displacement maps. So for this you would just want to basically essentially do what you did here, but with a mirror modifier. So there is one thing that, you know, there's a specific way that I like to do the topology. So I'll go back to our Retopology mesh here, and I'll show you real quick. Get the magnet and select a face here, Shift D to duplicate it. So for these muscles right here, I generally like to do something like this. And I drag it along. Do that basically, and then you can use these two to go through the bottom there. So I like this kind of setup for here, because, you know, you can, if you need more definition, you could just add an edge loop in there, and there you go. And that makes it easier to get this section in here. And, you know, if you want to really save some room, you can spread these out at the top and bring these back, you know, and spread that out a bit more. You can add another edge loop in there if you wanted to. or you could stop at a certain point here, so you could actually just do this. I take that there, go to face select mode, and just select all these faces here and set them. Alt Q and hit G. Okay, and you essentially got something like this. That's real easy to put together, and then you can just connect up the pecs, and there's 1, 2. So you want to add 2 in here. All right, and then so just these are just some different tools, and the freaking screencast keys, they failed me yet again. But these are just some really fast ways that you can do your retopology and get it done in a quick manner. Okay, so this is just something to think about. And one last thing is how I like to do the edge loops of the pectoral muscles. So what I like to do is I like to make sure that this edge loop goes all the way around this loop goes all the way around and under the armpit. So let's take this and just move some of these down a little bit. Whoopsie. Don't want to merge them. Well, you can actually just turn off the tool real quick and oh, I'm holding the wrong button. That's why I'm freaking out. Oh, I'm in face select mode. That's why. Okay, there we go. Just wanted to delete that edge there. I was like, why can I not delete it? There we go. So, just want to come back here. Get back the poly build tool, and I like to bring that so that it goes all the way around the base of the deltoid. Okay, whoops, be careful. And I like to make sure that it goes through here. Careful. I'm more so talking to myself than you guys when I say that. But I like to bring it all the way back down through here. And then what's cool about that is this actually gives you the avenue of making the edge loop for this muscle here. Now you can either bring this around here or you can bring it around this way. I'm actually going to just show you. It's better to probably bring it around here actually, like that. And then you can extrude this, connect that, and start bringing this around here. So you see how I'm going through, and I'm looking at how the muscles are shaped, and I'm just figuring out where the major loops would go. I'm not really worrying about, like, I wouldn't make an individual loop around all three of the major deltoid muscles. I wouldn't do that. I would just go around it with regular geometry, as you'll see if you do download my mesh there in the description. So That's the first part of it, and then once you have that, the last part of the chest that I feel is important is so I do like to connect these here, but this is just so that I can show you this. So I'm going to bring these down here. Okay. Then we can grid fill these. Well, whoops. Let's add a few. Okay, let's just subtract one. Whoops. Edge loops, okay. And then let's hit Control F grid fill, or you can select grid fill right there. And I'm gonna change the span to 3. That's fine. Okay. And then smooth that out. And then the last part of the chest. So turn off the poly build tool, go to face select mode, select all these faces, then hit I for inset. Alt Q, place it there. So that's how I like to do the chest. So just some ideas for you to think about while you're in your retopology journey. So like I said, I'm gonna finish retopologizing the face, and then I'll let you guys get to it with the other parts. Alright guys, so that is how you do the face. So, thank you guys for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel for more Blender tutorials. And in the next tutorial, we will do another part of the creative process to finish it. I'm not sure yet. But I'll see you guys then. Alright, have a good one.